Our story begins in West Georgia, when a driver saw a gopher tortoise injured by the road. The driver stopped to see if she could help. The tortoise had obviously been hit by a car.
The female tortoises especially are vulnerable to that because they're out looking for somewhere to nest.
The driver wanted to save the gopher tortoise.
She was taken to the sea turtle center at Jekyll Island where they were working on her, but they determined that she wasn't going to be able to be saved.
This was a disappointing outcome for an imperiled species, but there was a sliver of hope.
They were able to salvage the eggs that she had inside.
There were 8 rescued eggs that needed care, but looking after tortoise eggs in captivity has special challenges.
They're very sensitive to rotation. If you rotate the egg, the embryo inside could perish. We mark the top of the egg with an X so that you keep that orientation.
For incubating tortoise eggs, what you would do is you'd secure it in some sand or an incubation medium, keep it relatively moist.
We mix up vermiculite and water at a 1-to-1 ratio. It keeps that soil humidity at the right level. We put them in the incubator and they incubate for about 90 days at 90 degrees.
The rescued eggs were transferred to the University of Georgia Coastal Ecology Lab in Brunswick. For weeks to come, scientists monitored the rescued eggs and hoped. But you may be wondering, why go to so much effort for gopher tortoise eggs? Why are gopher tortoises even important?
Gopher tortoises are an important part of the ecosystem because they're a keystone species.
Gopher tortoises are a keystone species of longleaf forest, one of the most biologically diverse ecosystems in the world.
These guys are amazing. They build these burrows deep into the ground.
6 or 8 feet underground, 35 feet long.
It provides a really unique form of refuge. They're not visible from aerial predators and they can actually thermoregulate within the burrow.
A lot of other species, mammals, reptiles, amphibians, even birds can hide out in those burrows.
Diamondback rattlesnakes, indigo snakes, gopher frogs, raccoons.
Recently we did find an alligator using a tortoise burrow.
There's 350, 360 species of other animals. So they're kind of like the landlords providing a place to live.
Longleaf forests experience frequent fire, and gopher tortoise burrows play a vital role.
During a fire, that's where a lot of species hide to get out of the way of the fire.
Gopher tortoises benefit the ecosystem in other ways too.
Digging those burrows, they're bringing up soil that may not have ever seen the light of day. They're bringing up micronutrients and fresh soil to the surface that the plants are able to use.
With so many animals and plants depending on gopher tortoises, ensuring their survival is urgent. The rescued eggs had spent months at the Coastal Ecology Lab. Now the scientists watched them for signs of movement. But one after another failed to hatch. Had all that effort been for nothing? But then,
he was the only one that hatched out of the clutch. Gopher tortoise babies are normally kind of a goldish brown or a tan color when they hatch.
but not this tortoise.
Well, Pumpkin Spice got his name because he was that orange color when he hatched out.
Now the question was, would this small orange hatchling thrive?
After the tortoise has reabsorbed the yolk sac after hatching, we move them out to these bins. They will get constant care with feeding and water replenishment and hydrating their burrows.
Yes, the little hatchlings even get baths. When Pumpkin Spice had grown a little, the baby tortoise became part of a headstarting program.
We were offered some gopher tortoises to raise, and we heard word that one of them was kind of special. When I first saw Pumpkin Spice, he was very small, just a couple of months old, maybe a month. about the size of a ping pong ball. They'd brought him up from the coast and transferred him over to Charlie Elliott so that we could start raising him.
In captivity, you need to make sure that baby gopher tortoises get practice digging burrows.
The burrow caps that we make are out of PVC pipe and a cap so that it has a closed area and it's the perfect shape of a gopher tortoise shell. They'll go in and start digging their own hole. It's a nice enclosed area for them and they feel safe, and that's where they go when they're sleeping or just chilling out, and they'll post up at the front entrance of their burrow a lot and just watch the world.
All this practice digging burrows will be vital to their survival in the wild.
A gopher tortoise burrow starts very soon after a gopher tortoise hatches. It's a lifelong work. So they dig and dig and dig. The first year it may be only a few inches deep. The next year, as they get a little bit bigger, it gets extended.
You may wonder, why not release baby tortoises like Pumpkin Spice so they practice these skills in the wild?
So they're very vulnerable when they first hatch, and even as eggs, there's a lot of predation on the eggs.
A lot of animals will eat gopher tortoise eggs. Skunks, raccoons, wild hogs.
There can be up to 94% mortality rate in the first year of life.
With headstarting, we ensure survival pretty much for those tortoises up to a certain age.
We bring eggs here, hatch them out, grow them for about a year and a half. And in that year and a half, they get to the size of a 3 to 5-year-old because they're getting constant care, constant food. They're able to dig deeper burrows and get away from fires and predators.
At his new home, caretaker Berkeley Boone watched Pumpkin Spice's progress.
Pumpkin Spice has been pretty typical in raising it, eating the greens and the vegetables, practicing burrowing in its enclosure.
When he was still not even a year old, the small orange tortoise appeared briefly in a wildlife conservation film. The film's focus was the indigo snake, which uses gopher tortoise burrows. Caretaker Berkeley Boone made sure the young tortoise was safe and comfortable on location in the Longleaf forest. But a year later came the chance to make a film about gopher tortoises themselves. This meant exploring forests to film gopher tortoises, which can be surprisingly fast. It meant learning about some unexpected gopher tortoise behaviors.
They all have their own personality, believe it or not. Some are a lot more friendly and energetic. If they see you picking up their food, sometimes they'll not be happy about it. They'll actually bob their head and twitch it really fast.
Gopher tortoises communicate with each other quite well in ways that we don't fully understand. There's a lot of head bobbing.
And on a beautiful day, in the sandhills of a longleaf forest, the filmmakers were once again able to film Pumpkin Spice, now well over a year old. The Head Start program had raised a healthy, thriving tortoise. What does the future hold? For now, the young tortoise is helping to educate the public.
Pumpkin Spice gets to go out on presentations. He's an ambassador for gopher tortoises everywhere.
But the ultimate goal of Head Starting is to release gopher tortoises to the wild. One of the main considerations when planning to release gopher tortoises is getting them into healthy habitat.
Gopher tortoises really need kind of like an open sandy soil to be able to dig those burrows.
Gopher tortoises are associated with longleaf forests because of the open canopy that allows sunlight to come down to the ground.
And therefore you get a lot of native grasses and forbs that come together to make this ground cover that is good forage for gopher tortoises.
Fire plays an important role in the habitat.
Longleaf pine is a fire forest. It's evolved with fire. It's adapted in many ways to accept fire.
Gopher tortoises are certainly dependent on fire to keep the understory clear in their sandhills environments, keep that sunlight coming down for the plants to grow.
We try to get our gopher tortoises onto wildlife management areas where they're protected in an environment that's stable and has prescribed burns.
Prescribed burns are carefully managed burns that keep the habitat open and healthy. After site selection and preparation, juvenile gopher tortoises can be released into the wild.
This hatchling release is an amazing collaboration of a number of agencies that come together to support rare species.
Released gopher tortoises and their habitats will be monitored for years to come.
We're really investing in something for the future in everything that we do.
Meanwhile, pumpkin spice has been growing to a size that's suitable for release. A roadside tragedy turned into a successful rescue. In states like Georgia and Florida, many people are working to help the imperiled species to make sure that gopher tortoise numbers stabilize and increase. This one small orange tortoise reminds us of the good that human beings can do.